Hi, folks. I'm Jamie Hiles.
I'm Lydia Judy.
And I'm really thirsty, and that's why I drink
Oh my god!
Protein 2C.
I don't think we're gonna
2O.
get.
Protein
I don't think
2O.
I
It's the
don't think
best
we're gonna
beverage
get.
you can get with 20 grams of protein.
I don't think we're gonna get sponsored by
Back to you.
Protein 2O, as you Protein 2C, whatever the fuck you called it the first time.
Derek went out and got a sponsor for himself and not the rest of the podcast.
He did. He did.
Yeah,
We're all gonna
plugged
get
it.
cases of Protein 2O. Well, we would have if Derek remembered the name correctly the first time.
Well, so I was looking in on the screen, which then had it backwards, and then I was like, is that a C or is that an O? It's definitely an O.
Well, either way, if it was an O and it was backwards, it would still be an O because it's round, Derek.
Well, I know, but
Yeah,
this
but
way,
the
it
design.
Oh,
looks
I
like
see.
that is partially.
It kind of does look like a C. Yeah. Yeah.
Something's up with that.
I just know your spelling is not the best, so I was confused. How are you guys doing today?
I'm fine.
I'm doing much better than I was earlier.
I'm doing okay.
I had such a headache.
That's not good.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're feeling better.
Yes.
Derek, you had an adventure just to get on this episode, didn't you?
I did. It was kind of ridiculous. So
We had some
Let's hope it
technical
doesn't
difficulties, but we are with you now, and we're ready to talk about some movies. Particularly, we're about to talk about 1993's straight-to-video classic Puppet Master 4, The Demon. But before
and
we
just
do that,
to reiterate, I did not actually pick this movie.
that's true.
Just to clarify, to remind the audience.
You did by proxy.
By proxy, but not directly. It was indirectly.
It was
Happenstance.
indirectly. Happenstance,
Luck,
exactly.
some might say. That's why I play the lottery.
I don't think
because
most
I'm
would
never
say
gonna
that.
win.
I don't think most would say that, but we'll get into it. But before we do any of that nonsense, guys, I have a metric ton of horror news, so let's get into it. Let's start with this one. So, guys, Amy Adams is starring in a new horror movie.
Yes.
Expected
Yeah,
to arrive this fall, called Night Bitch. It is the story of a woman thrown into a stay-at-home routine of raising a toddler in the suburbs who slowly embraces the feral power deeply rooted in motherhood as she becomes increasingly aware of the bizarre and undeniable signs that she may be turning into a canine.
What?
And she signed on to that movie.
Yeah, it sounds fucking fun, dude.
I mean,
It's,
it does
right-
sound fun. It's kind of weird.
It's
Yeah, it is.
You know?
it's basically a werewolf story. You know, it's a werewolf story.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's rated R for language and some sexuality. Ooh, titillizing
Well.
and gory. What are you guys' thoughts on
She's
this?
a beautiful lady.
Yeah, she is.
That sounds cool.
Yeah,
Sounds
sounds fun.
fun.
I love the title, Night Bitch. That's a fun title.
Yeah.
It is.
When
It is.
I was a kid, I would have been like all about. That's the name of the movie, Mom. It's called Night Bitch. It's not cussing. I'm just saying the name. This is interesting.
I'm gonna propose this movie. Wait, real quick. I'm gonna propose this movie to my wife, and I'll be like, "You want to watch Night, bitch?" And see. We gotta cut that part. We're gonna cut that part.
No, that part's the best. It's staying in.
You want to watch Night, bitch?
Overruled.
See what she says. See what she says.
That'd be excellent. All right. This is some interesting news. We have two back-to-back Tim Burton newses. First, let's start with this one. Tim Burton is signed on to direct a remake of Attack of the 50-Foot Woman for Warner Brothers.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
That's fascinating and weird.
So they haven't made one since the Daryl Hannah starring one in 1993. You guys remember that one, right?
Yep.
And then there's
Not sure if
the
I remember
original.
that one.
The original
Oh,
58
Lydia.
version as well, of course.
She's so young.
Well, I
Do you even
remember
know
the
who
58
Daryl Hannah
one.
is?
Do I know who is?
Daryl
Daryl
Hannah?
Hannah.
Yeah, I know who Daryl Hannah is.
Okay.
So it's basically just going to be a fun, campy 50s style romp of a modern remake of Attack the 50. What do you guys think of this? I think that's fun. I think that should probably be pretty fun.
I think that's super fun. I love that.
I think that's right up Burton's alley.
Yeah. I wonder who will be cast in it as the
I was
woman.
wondering that too. Jenna Ortega.
Right, yeah. Because in my head, Lana Del Rey is the 50-foot woman.
Oh,
She's got a
I
music
see.
video like that,
Ah,
and it's awesome.
Oh, okay. I've heard
I
some of her
see.
music. I was like, man, I don't think she's an actress.
I'm
Should
going to
be.
throw in Ana de Armas because I would love to have a 50-foot version of her.
Who is that?
Oh,
What?
from Knives Out.
Yeah, she's in a
Okay.
bunch of.
She's the main character in
movies.
Knives Out. She's in tons of stuff.
Okay, I
Yeah.
think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I
She's-
don't think I knew her name.
Yeah, she's a great actress and gorgeous. That's what I'm saying.
I would vote for that.
Staying on the Beetlejuice or the Tim Burton train, Beetlejuice has a title and a release date. It is now called Beetlejuice, and it has a release
Oh.
date of 9/6/2004, and we have a poster.
Oh,
You guys want to see?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Here it is, the official poster.
Oh,
What do you guys think?
that's good. I like that.
It's fun,
Yeah, I
right?
saw that poster. Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think?
Beetlejuice, huh?
I like
Uh-huh.
that. It's different.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like they were like, we don't really have not a good title, but we can't decide on what to call it. We'll just call it Beetlejuice. That's in my
Well,
mind.
I think it's
I
yeah,
like
I think
it
it's a
'cause
play
like
on it being
two.
yeah,
Yeah.
because you're just one away from summoning him when you
sure
say
it
the
is.
title.
I'm sure it
Yeah.
is, but
Yeah.
it could have also
I
been
like
a cop out. You don't know.
Yeah, I think
like
it's a
it
good
that
title.
it's not like some cheesy, like
I did not say I
Beetlejuice,
didn't like it.
a
just to
slight frown
clarify.
or something.
Oh. You want to go there, huh? You want to go there? You're lucky.
They were trying to for years. They were trying to develop a Beetlejuice sequel, and one of them was literally Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian.
What?
Yeah, that was the script they were
Man.
developing. Kevin Smith was actually asked if he wanted to work on it before he chose to do Superman Lives that never got made. But he talks about it in one of his specials, and he says, haven't we said everything we need to say with Beetlejuice? Must we go tropical?
That's a good one.
So yeah, luckily we didn't get that. So there you go. Derek, this news here. Thanksgiving 2 is going to be reuniting the surviving cast of the original movie, and it's going to be a direct sequel.
Nice.
Hmm.
You guys watched that one?
I have. You guys have not yet.
I have not.
Yeah. We did one for the podcast, but it wasn't that one.
Yeah.
No.
I wanted to, but just didn't happen.
Yeah, it wasn't out yet. But it's out now.
Do we watch it now or
save it for
wait
Thanksgiving?
until Thanksgiving.
I don't know. That's a long time because the second one will probably be out by that point. Because does this thing have a release date? I think it's coming out just next year. Next November again.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm sorry. 2025 is when it's coming out. So we have a year. Derek, this next bit of news is for you. So first of all, I've got to give you this in bits. They're talking about a Buffy revamp, right?
Yep,
A planned Dolly Parton is a producer on this thing.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Did you know that?
I did not know that, and I was wondering where you were going with that, but yeah.
Well,
Interesting.
Believe it or not, she was actually producer on the original Buffy.
Wow.
Was she?
She was a producer in the
Wow.
original series.
Nice.
Okay, then that 100% makes sense that she would, follow that up. So cool. Great movie.
So she
trivia.
says they're still working on it when she was asked for an update. And she said they're thinking about bringing it back and revamping it. Now, does that mean they're going to just restart? But Sarah Michelle Gellar says she has no interest in returning to the role. So I'm guessing they're going to just have to revamp the series, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
fresh start, which makes sense.
Uh,
I don't know if I were her, if I would want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of said everything they wanted to say with that series. Plus, Joss Whedon can't be involved, and nobody wants to work with Joss Whedon anymore. So that'd be a big
Yeah, my only
part of
concern
the.
is that he would get some sort of like royalty or something along those lines.
He
and
would
no one
because
wants to
it's
support
his.
that
It was his
POS.
creation. Yeah.
Well, he can suck dicks in hell.
Whoa! Spicy.
Eric is so feisty today.
Yes, he is.
That's what happened when you have technical difficulties. You got to take your frustration out on Josh.
Yeah. Damn Joss Whedon's ass.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then finally, guys, I saved this news for last. Lydia, you're gonna like this one. So we got another update on 28 years later.
Mm-hmm.
So Sony is officially on board to produce the movie, right? To make the movie, with Cillian Murphy signed on to produce the film. So he's producing, and looks like he could possibly act in the project, although details are not available yet. So it looks like Cillian Murphy's returning. He's definitely returning as a producer, so I don't see why he wouldn't return as an actor as well.
Right, yeah.
Even if it's a cameo to like connect
Yeah,
everything together.
but the fact that he
What if he was a
wants to be
zombie?
involved, maybe. But I think that he'll probably be in the movie. I think we're going to see a further adventure with Jim and company. What do you
That
guys'
would be
thoughts?
amazing. I would love that so much. That's exciting news for sure.
I'm 100% on board if he is a prominent role. I'm 92.5% on board if he's not.
Still
Glad you-
still pretty on board then.
Yeah, glad you
Yeah.
broke that down for us. Also,
Well, I like to be precise.
who would you guys cast as Buffy, by the way?
Oh yeah. I was kind of thinking
I
that
would
too
go
in
with
the
an
back of my head.
unknown.
Yeah, an
If
unknown.
you're going to revamp it, it depends. If it's going to be a
Yeah.
A
a
movie,
movie,
yeah.
which it was originally a movie, or
Yeah.
if it would be a TV show. If it was a TV show, I would go with a no-name cast. Just
I
to
would
like
do that
what
too,
set
yeah.
expectation.
Yeah,
But you also
I
have
would
to get butts and
rather a
seats, so
TV
it's a
show.
little. But if it's either, so for what it's worth, Sarah Michelle Gellar thinks that Zendaya should play Buffy,
Oh.
which I would not
could
be
see
opposed.
that.
That actually would probably work.
Yeah.
I mean, it is whatever. I wouldn't.
She's
It's not
pretty
because
kick-ass.
I have anything against her, but I don't know. Anyway,
Oh, why? Because she's not white and blonde, Derek?
no. More than anything, because she's a beanpole.
Well, so
Which
is Buffy.
It doesn't matter. No, Buffy was. Let's not talk about Buffy. 'Cause
I mean,
Are you kidding me?
Like she's like really tiny.
Yes,
was
she is.
perfect. She was perfect. You guys
Oh
don't know.
my god. We see.
How tall is Zendaya?
I see what
She,
it
like,
is.
She's.
small?
I
first
figured
off,
it out. I figured it out. Derek is just super in love with Sarah Michelle Gellar.
That's what it is. Yeah.
I am
He can't
totally.
get over
I
it.
used to- it was like my first background picture on the first computer that I had. It took me 12 hours to download it.
My best friend.
It was the first
My best
one.
friend is the biggest Buffy fan. Shout out to Garth. I know he's not listening, but if he ever does.
We started watching the original series, like rewatching it. I used to have some of the, lost to time, but I used to have like the DVD sets of the seasons that in Smallville.
Yep, he did too.
I was a WB kid back
Both
in
of
the
those.
day. I feel like he and I would have a lot to talk about.
You definitely would, yeah.
You know, I liked Buffy fine, but it wasn't my jam.
I love the
I
Spike
thought it
movie
was
was like
too.
my first crush.
I thought it was
Spike?
fine.
You weren't an angel girl?
Oh,
No.
she was a big
No,
she was
no,
a big Little Giants fan. You remember Spike
don't
on
even
Little
know what that
Giants?
I do.
Oh
And
my
Icebox
god.
got him.
Yeah.
Didn't
I'll
he
show you
talk like
Spike.
Spike does this?
Yeah,
like
Spike
that.
don't
It's been
care.
forever.
Spike don't play with girls. Here's Spike. Lydia, if you've never seen Little Giants, this kid right here. That's Spike for you. Oh man. Shout out to Zachary. Zachary, my brother Zach and I used to watch Little Giants like nonstop. It's one of our all-time favorites. Little sidebar, there's a scene in Little Giants where John Madden's Madden bus breaks down. And so all of the pro football players are on there. Like, Bruce Smith, but the most important, Emmitt Smith, was on this bus. And Zachary and I used to watch this bit. We used to love it. We're like, Emmitt Smith! He was our favorite athlete of all time. Like, Emmitt Smith! And then John Madden creates a play. It's fucking hilarious. You got to watch that movie. Rick Moranis, Ed O'Neill. Pretty good one, isn't it, Derek?
Mm-hmm. It is good. Classic.
Classic.
Ah,
All
the
right,
90s.
guys. The 90s.
Lydia was born in the 90s and it was a glorious
93.
time.
We came of age in the 90s. I think Little Giants probably came out in like 1993 or something like no, probably 95. 95,
Well, this
96.
the movie tonight came out in 93, didn't you say?
It did. It did. It did indeed. And that's what we're going to get into now when we talk about let's talk about the 90s. The 90s you had, your fads, your yo-yos, your what were the other fads? Parachute pants in the early 90s.
Kirby's,
Oh my gosh. Parachute pants were...
Tamagotchi.
Tamagotchis.
I
I'm
think
talking early 90s.
Jinko jeans
we had
came later in the 90s.
Yep. Early 90s, we had Walkmans were back. Walkmans were a big thing. We had Vanilla Ice. We had MC Hammer.
Ninja Turtles was huge.
Ninja Turtles were the biggest. We had we had all of those things. We had Ice, Vanilla Ice. We had the early rappers, and of course, we also had straight to video films.
Man.
So this was a phenomenon of the late 80s, early 90s.
I'm not
Was
gonna
the
lie, I'm
straight
getting
to
like smacked in the face with nostalgia right now.
Well, watching this film sometimes is like getting smacked in the face with something. We'll talk about it here in a minute.
A 2x4 with nails.
Yeah, I was going to say a big old floppy dick. But
I didn't say that, Lydia.
I know.
I didn't say that.
I heard.
But this film came out right at the peak of what was starting with this direct-to-video market. So the other three films, I think, were all released theatrically. Maybe the second one was straight to video, or the third one, I mean. But I'm pretty sure it was theatrical as well. This is the start of the direct-to-video era, I do believe. And you can tell. You can tell. This has the direct-to-video look. Like, the way it's shot, the way it's lit, and the budget shows you exactly that it's a direct-to-video flick. It's what we're going to get when we get to the Critter sequels after part 2. Well, we did when we got to part 3. It's going to be like that.
You're planting seeds, man.
I'm not planting any
Oh,
seeds.
no.
I'm just telling you.
Yeah,
Don't
you
forget
are.
Critters.
Have either of you guys seen this flick before? Oh, look, and you turn on my sign.
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure I have not.
You see, I think I've seen this, but I didn't remember much of it. The only thing I remember is the horrendous demon. The rest of it, and I remember bits in the hotel because you see, I watched this guy on Sci-Fi Channel.
Ah.
That makes
I
I
sense.
remember watching it on Sci-Fi Channel because it was during the Fear Fest or what have you, during the Halloween season. And they were having a marathon of these guys and just movies in general. This one was on.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, Puppet Master.
Yeah. I had a feeling when I was watching this, like, that it kind of looked familiar. And I kind of was like, maybe I saw this on TV at some point. I'm not sure.
it looks and feels like a sci-fi original film. That's why. It was just a little bit more class or a little bit more budget than a sci-fi original. But so yeah, this thing takes a complete like even more of a right turn than the other sequels, the other movies we got. Because the first one we're about like kind of these people at the hotel and all these random psychics get together for a psychic convention with Beethoven leading the way and the girl that can sense where people fuck. This one, then the second one we have people turning into dolls randomly, turn into weird puppet heads. The third one is actually a kick-ass little revenge story and set in Nazi Germany. I think it's a lot of fun. And then there's this one, which we open in this lab and stuff, and we're immediately kind of starting to get pieces of the story, and it's fucking insane, guys. They're trying to develop AI with like little vacuum cleaner robots.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I keep putting in the code and it keeps following it. Yeah, that's what fucking robots do. Especially ones in 1993, my guy. He's like putting in binary.
Talking about.
He's putting in zeros and ones. 0 1 0 1. Like, yeah, guy, that's probably what you're gonna get. So yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't get that part from that.
Well, it's in the dialogue, Derek. It's in the dialogue.
No, like he did not. It's not. I don't think that. I mean, he was reprogramming them to try to give. I mean, and obviously it had other components to it, but he was trying to feed it code so it could learn on its own.
It's AI
he said
learning.
Like some, yeah. Well, and he said, I don't know. I can't repeat specifically what he said, but yeah, he was just hijacking them because they had wheels. But it was a silly premise. And it took me out of this movie, by the way.
Even sillier was the lasers that they were shooting.
Oh my god! Don't get me started.
Oh my god, the lasers, dude! I'm watching. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how do they have real laser gun? And here's why this scene is in here, because here's another thing, relic from the early '90s. One of the most popular things in the world was fucking laser tag.
Yes.
But we're kind of burying the lead. We'll talk about the lasers here in a second, even too. But this movie opens with a straight up fucking Power Rangers scene.
Right?
These monsters are straight out of Power Rangers.
Yeah. It looked so confusing to me. Like
it looks bad, is why.
I couldn't tell how big anything was. I was like, are these small or big? I cannot tell. I was like, are they supposed to be toy sized or human sized?
I think they're human sized.
It is kind of hard to judge that, because I was wondering. I mean, you don't really get like a scale.
Yeah, perspective. Yeah.
And so, yeah, that was a little confusing as well.
Like the way that demon thing was moving, it was just
his mouth
creepy.
His mouth is the worst.
His mouth.
I wish they would have
gross.
given him a mouth. He didn't. He had like a fucking pumpkin chin.
Yeah.
And it was just weird.
It was weird.
Yeah, and like the design's okay. I mean, it's cheesy as all hell. It's not scary. This movie is about as scary as a Goosebumps movie. Movie's as scary as a Goosebumps movie, I swear.
Oh man, yeah.
If you take out the cursing,
did lose her finger.
You take out the cursing, this would almost be a PG movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, those
Small
things.
Soldiers come out.
1997. 1997.
Because that.
Or 98. One of those. Yeah, Small Soldiers rocks. You remember Small Soldiers, Derek?
No.
Oh, Derek, you have to watch Small Soldiers.
Yes, you do.
I think I remember the maybe the cover art for it.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's got a good
I think
cover.
Kurt Russell plays like the lead, that like the military soldier.
Was it him, or was it
you're
Tommy Lee
right.
Jones?
No, maybe it was Tommy Lee Jones.
I think I'm picturing Tommy Lee Jones.
I think I'm picturing Tommy Lee Jones now that you said it too.
And then Archer, the Cool.
It's a Joe Dante movie. It's a Joe Dante movie.
Yeah, yeah. You would like it for sure.
It is
It's really
Tommy Lee
good.
Jones. You're right, Lydia. A very young Kirsten Dunst
Lydia
is in this thing
scores.
too. And Phil Hartman is also in
Really?
it. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's super fun.
Yeah, it's a Joe Dante movie. I really liked it as a kid.
It's got some horror elements too, I think.
Yeah. We'll probably get that one on season 17. We'll hit it up. But that's also when we're going to do Puppet Master 5, by the way.
Not unless
We don't
Derek
wanna-
picks it.
We don't want to like push it out too far because this is a direct continuation. Like it sets.
It
up.
is. It is, unfortunately. So, yeah, our characters, guys, are dull as dishwater, right? I mean,
They are
we have
for sure.
scientist guy. Our main character, his name is Rick Myers. We have Susie, who is generic lady. We have Lauren, who is our patented psychic.
Yes.
And then we have Cameron, who has the fucking worst hair I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my gosh, Cameron.
There's so many things about him. When he puts that
One of the
cigarette
worst
out in
characters
the,
ever.
Water
Yeah.
was probably the scariest thing that in this movie. To be honest with you, I cringed. I was like,
Derek's like, oh!
"Take it away! Get it away from me!"
Oh, man. Yeah, these characters, man, are bad with a capital B, right? What do you guys think of them?
They're not great. I didn't hate them, but
The main
You didn't hate
character,
Cameron?
He's
I hated Cameron a little bit. But
Yeah,
in the end,
Cameron was a douchebag.
I just felt bad for him a little bit.
When he told her to get out of the car and push in the rain,
Yeah.
I'm like, wow.
Get the fuck out of here.
I felt really bad for him in that moment. Yeah, so he just didn't want to get his hair wet, you know.
Yeah, it takes a lot to have that shit stand up. That hair, he walks through, when the shot of him coming in, by the way, and he's just like, Rick, how's it going, man? Hugs, kisses. I was like, fucking want this guy to die right now. Like, immediately. He just walked in, and I'm like, okay, kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, it's so wild. So, what do you guys, let's talk about the little demon dudes. The little totems, the little demon totems. What do you guys think of them?
I love
The
them.
ones
I
that
think they're
kill
great.
everything.
Yes,
I mean, aesthetically, they look kind of cool,
they do.
but like
Yeah.
the budget was just not there.
Oh, dude,
Like,
no.
Yeah.
So our puppets from the our puppets look pretty good when they're just kind of moving around. But there's a bit where our puppets where Blade fights one of these demons,
he's
and
like,
it's the
smack-
worst thing I've ever seen in my life. It's like like when I was playing with action figures.
That's what they were doing. Although I gotta say, one of the best things there's two things I want to say. First, Toulon, man, they like his character arcs in these movies are like fucking like this. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? In the first one, he seems pretty wholesome. In the second one, he's like trying to like kill.
The
He's a
first
villain.
one, he's like,
Villain.
in the first one, he's like evil, isn't he?
No, he's only in the movie for a little bit.
Yeah, he's at
He
the
gets
very
killed
beginning.
At the beginning,
yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we don't really
Okay.
get a lot to his backstory.
and the
But,
puppets are all just pissed that he got killed.
yeah.
Yeah.
Then the second one,
Yeah.
he's evil because he's trying to turn everybody
Yeah.
into puppets. Then the third one, they just disregard the second one completely,
Yeah.
and Toulon is because it's a prequel, so we find out Toulon was good. And then
Yeah.
in this one, he's
How
like,
do you guys feel
the-
about that? By the way,
I don't mind him being good. I don't mind him being
Yeah.
good.
I
don't
prefer
mind
him being good.
Yeah,
me too.
and-
Okay, I'm glad we're
And
on
I
the
like
same
the
page
puppets, and I like the puppets being like the heroes too. I don't mind that
Yes.
either.
I
It's
know.
still
I
fun.
loved that about this. Yeah, because
Yes.
they
Yeah.
totally like befriend. I mean, he befriended them. He brought them back to life.
Yeah, and they
Yeah,
participate.
I love- too.
Yeah,
I love
Mhm.
so much seeing them be friendly.
yeah. I
It
don't
makes me
mind
so
that.
happy.
I mean, it kind of sucks for a horror film because it kind of
Right? Yeah, it
But
does.
through most of these movies, just a spoiler, through most of these movies, the puppets are the good guys. They're the
Yeah.
heroes through most of these movies.
Oh
Um,
my gosh, guys.
and
The
they face
back
off
end,
against
'cause
other
the front
things.
end they were.
The
Yeah,
third
and then at
one brings in the like sympathetic, and then this one really drives in he being sympathetic for them.
well, and then but Toulon, you're right, Derek. Toulon. First of all, he's like fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi, force ghosting his way around life. And then
I
he
miss
just
you.
his head turns into that fucking his head turns into that puppet, and I'm like, what the fuck is going
Yeah.
on?
Yeah.
What?
That puppet was freaky looking too.
The
Why, 'cause it had no
Galvatron?
face?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
just the
like not
Galvatron.
having a face. That is weird.
Well, I didn't like it having a terrible superimposed Toulon head on it either. That was awful.
Yeah, that was even
That
weirder.
was
I
That's
was like,
creepy.
really the best special effect in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, there's some things. So, um, the kills, guys. Let's talk about those.
Yeah.
Let's get into that. The kills in this
Okay.
movie are awful. Next level, awful. There's not a single good one.
oh.
I agree. Oh, mine's
Lydia?
not doing it anymore.
Oh. Maybe
Oh, there it
mine
is.
do it. Nope. Still
Yours
won't
never
do
does it. I don't know why. I don't know why I hate you so much.
I think it's because I'm not on an Apple. Maybe.
Maybe.
It is. It's embedded in software. But for
So,
sure.
yeah, the kills. There's not a good one. So we have the one at the very beginning where the only bit of gore really is the girl gets her finger chopped off and it looks terrible.
It does look terrible, but she at least got her finger chopped off. The next guy who dies, he just fades into red.
Dude, and she fades into red for her
Yeah.
actual kill,
Fade into
and we
red.
get
Well,
that
yeah.
that shot where like they're sucking up the soul or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought
know?
the red was an interesting choice, though.
Well, yeah, interesting. I would say it's interesting as well. Not that it's good. It's interesting that that's the solution they came up with.
I thought it was
Um,
very artful.
Oh, I wouldn't use artful for any part of this.
Did
film,
you say
probably.
Did I mention?
artful? Is that what
Did
you
I
said?
mention that I loved this movie?
No,
Lydia?
fartful is what it is. Fartful.
Jamie and I voted when you weren't on screen, and you're out of here.
You're
No, I'm just
firing me?
So,
Firing me?
No.
guys, this thing.
That's what you
this
get for
thing-
making fun of me for all those times of black and white movies.
Oh, Derek, I meant to apologize to you for giving you so much crap about picking this movie because I am so glad that you picked this movie for me.
Oh, not me. This is a rough ride.
I
and it
had
gets
a
even
blast,
rougher.
and I've never loved this series more.
Quit your lying. You fell asleep during this
Oh,
movie,
yeah.
Lydia. Don't
That's
lie.
because I was watching it really late at night, and I was very tired from working hard.
So check this out. As soon as we meet the other characters besides Rick, when they come in. Well, before I get into that, I want to finish the thought I had on the kills because the other one is Cameron, and it's a horrible kill. It's like the thing is like just like biting his dick or something. I don't know what's going on. Like, ah! And he's like, ah! And when these things are attacking them,
And he looked just like that, Lydia.
and when these things are attacking him, or when they attack anybody, they're like, there's this bit that cracks me up where the demon is like has all the humans are like backed up and they're like, oh, and the demons, and he's like, oh, I better figure out a way to get around him. And these things are so fucking slow, and they're so tiny. You can literally. She finally kicks one. I was like, yeah just step
that's
on
all
it.
you had to
It's
do.
so tiny.
But it has blades for fingers and
Yeah, it's really
I
spiky.
guess.
toenails
But,
and
like,
spiky.
It's so slow. Like they literally, he goes bah and makes the robot shut the door, and then he just
Save his
runs out of the
girlfriend.
way. Just runs out of the way without any trouble. I'm like, why were you afraid of him? But there's a bit in this where when we meet our characters and the red-haired woman comes in. What's her name? The red-haired woman, Lauren. She comes in
The psychic.
and she looks around, and immediately I was like, she's a fucking psychic. I know she's a psychic.
Yep.
I felt like I was a psychic. And then later she's like, he just out of nowhere says, well, we need to talk about your gift. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like the science, and dude, when they're at the table and he's just like, yeah, I'm part of the Omega Project. Yeah. And she's like, yeah, it's Dr. Piper. Yeah, I work. She's doing my research. And he's like, son of a bitch. I'm like, this rivalry between these fucking Uber dorks is too much for me.
Yeah, it
God.
was pretty silly. That was pretty silly.
It's all silly. It's all silly. And guys, I love how when they kill one of these totems, we go back to Goosebumps land or Power Rangers land, and one of his little minions like melt.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, what? Wait, what? I did not see that coming. I did not see that.
Makes me
I did
laugh.
not connect the dots there.
What makes me laugh is that this demon and these little followers are literally the most incompetent and least effective demons in the history of the world.
Yeah.
Because literally, if you can kill their little totems and it just kills them, and they just die regularly, what is going on? What's the point of them?
Why wouldn't you just send them up?
Yeah, exactly. Or why wouldn't you send something that's bigger than this tall? Like, that's what's funny is they're like, well, we need the puppets something to fight, so let's bring tiny ass shit so they have something to fight.
No sense. It makes no sense.
Oh my god. So yeah, the ending of this thing is also wild. You didn't see it, Lydia. You were asleep.
I think I saw it.
This
I don't
ending.
know. I apparently fell asleep.
So this movie, the ending is like a wet fart, like the rest of the movie. But comes up. There's no build up to the third act. Would you say, Derek?
No, there isn't. And when it did end, I was like, interesting, because it just like, it should have said at the end to be continued, because that's what it made you think was like happening. I was like, what is this, a 2-part movie?
Yeah.
Anyway,
So
did anybody else get that?
What happened? Somebody remind me so I can know if I remember.
So here's what happens. There's a couple things. So first of all, one of the demon that she pours the acid on,
okay,
that we see kills the little guy controlling, the little follower. He melts. But somehow he's still alive, and I don't know how. The demon is, the little totem, still alive for some reason. And they go so there's the one demon that they electrocuted with the lightning bolt, which took like 45 minutes for them to do all that and electrocute the guy with the lightning bolt. So
oh gosh, yeah.
They bring to life the Galvatron, and he has like a lightning bolt helmet, essentially. So he takes 45 minutes. Yeah, he takes 45 minutes to shock the last totem, and he just keeps shocking it, and it keeps coming back to our guys being like, and then the rest of the puppets, then back to him doing it, and then he eventually
6-shooter keeps doing that.
6-shooter, yep.
That's creepy. That's the
Sarah hated that, by the way. Sarah's like, that is an annoying noise.
It's creepy, dude. It makes me so uncomfortable to even hear it.
So she
do it again. Is that what you're telling me?
No, dude.
So he uses the Tesla ball to finally explode the last totem. He explodes the last totem, and the demon guy just is down in his fucking hell world or whatever. He's like, no! And then, Toulon's head...
Goldberg!
Oh, yeah, that Sid turns into Sid Vicious.
Goldberg! Goldberg! Jamie gets it.
That's a good reference, Derek. Good reference. No, he curses them, and then Toulon just magically reappears as the head of the Galvatron, and then he's like, Now you are a puppet master. We have chosen you, Rick Myers. You now must watch over the puppets and protect the secret of life. And that's kind of it, right, Derek?
Yeah, because it's a to be continued. They just forgot to put the text on the TV screen.
See, I feel like I totally saw that. I feel like
Did
I
you
remember
remember-
being like, okay, you can sleep now. Because I was like trying to hold my eyes open.
That's funny. I was trying to shut them.
You're trying to shut up. I was like, I remember being like, I was covered up in bed with the blankets, like up to my face. And my whole face was like this the whole time. Like, what the hell?
Yeah,
Were you
that's the proper-
afraid of the movie, or you were afraid you might, I don't know, get cursed by the, I don't know. Were you
I was
afraid?
like, I was just confused.
She was just
Like, I was
perplexed
just,
by this film. Yeah.
Yes, I was
I mean,
perplexed by
it's
everything
very
that I was
perplexing.
seeing. But
This
then
movie was
it
easy
came
to-
out masterpiece.
Bullshit.
Beautiful,
But was it?
beautiful movie.
Lydia, if you give this movie a 10, I'm going to question the legitimacy of
Jake.
everything that you've ever rated.
I wanted to watch this movie twice.
You're lying.
I-
Why? Because you fell asleep during the first watch?
No, because I liked it and I watched it by myself and I was like, Jake, you have to watch this movie with me. It's amazing.
I never want to watch this movie again in my entire life. Never
I'm
again.
ready to watch them all from the beginning.
I do.
That is-
You know what, Lydia? Lydia, listen to me.
What?
We should like collectively be like, we're gonna do 1 and 2 and then 3, and then we're gonna do a movie marathon of Puppet Masters. What do you think?
Yes.
Let's
I'm
do
in.
You
Jamie,
guys
are
have
you
fun
in?
with that. You guys have
Jamie
fun with that.
hated it.
We're gonna start
This
our
is-
own club.
Jamie,
Puppet Masters.
this movie is everything I wanted this movie to be.
No.
I was
No, it's
so
not.
scared.
Here's the problem. It wasn't for me because nothing happened. It's like the dullest, most boring movie. The only movie that is more dull than this maybe is the first one.
The first
because-
one, yeah.
This one is so boring. It's just slow and nothing's happening. It has no tension. It's just this blob of a film that just exists. And it doesn't exist very well because it has horrible special effects and boring kills and unlikable characters. There's like no redeeming qualities to this one for me. It was rough.
Well, what
It's a
about
rough film.
what about the laser tag fight with the puppets though?
No, it's not absurd enough. It's
What are you
dumb.
talking about, Lydia?
It's
It was terrible.
it's
about-
dumb, but
But
it's
what
not
about-
funny dumb. It's just you're like, why? Why?
I was
Who
like,
did this?
I was so happy. I was like,
Who
this is the
hurt
best
you
thing.
as a
And then
child?
But then it like kept going. Like that scene lasted so long that I was like, okay, are we done?
Guys,
Lydia, I
Nice.
genuinely am very happy that you enjoyed this movie.
I really did. You didn't like the laser tag scene?
No, I thought that they were like the worst piece of cinema I'd ever seen.
Guys, come on. It's so fun.
the worst piece of cinema, he says. Oh my god.
Guys.
You're gonna fucking. You ready to lose your shit, Derek? You guys ready? Check this out. This is gonna blow all your minds.
Oh shit.
This movie, Puppet Master 4, had 6 fucking writers. 6 writers! And this is what they came up with. They're not one good idea on any of them. They're like, hey, let's throw our best ideas. Oh, they're all shitty? Alright, I guess that's the movie we're making.
This movie felt like it had 6 writers.
It really did. It
It's like
really
they
It
each
did.
picked a scene and then made it way too long and then ended it.
Well, making it too long was the director's fault, in my opinion. Because he just shot these scenes with, like... here's something that makes me laugh. And the director is Jeff Burr. He's a solid director. He did Stepfather 2, Texas Chainsaw 3, and the second Pumpkinhead. Which is kind of
Nice.
underrated. It's kind of weird, but it's kind of underrated. Blood Wings. But,
Yes.
guys... there's something about this that makes me laugh too. This movie, like I said, it had that direct-to-video look. Because there's scenes where they're walking around in the dark, and it is the brightest fucking room you've ever seen in the history of your life. They have the flashlights, and it's so bright, which I appreciate being able to see it, but they overdid it, I think. Because it's like legitimately, like you can't. It's so bright you can't even see the fucking flashlight itself.
Yeah.
It's true.
Oh my god.
What else? What else about this movie do we love?
Nothing.
Love.
Derek and I have no love for this one, but there's a lot of fun to talk about the absurdity. See, that's the problem. Is it's absurd, but not in the. It's not absurd funny. It's just dumb. Like the fact that she goes into the room and then she's just automatically like afraid of afraid of the trunk, even though the puppets are good in this timeline.
Right,
So I'm
yeah, that makes
confused
sense.
why she's afraid of it.
She sensed like all of the bad things that they've been through, you know.
Well,
maybe that.
And we actually didn't talk
And they
about
are murderers.
They are.
Yeah.
They are murder. I mean, they didn't kill anybody in this. They only killed the little demons. But we have yet to mention like the motive, like the whole thing that like sets this movie in motion. It's the demon people want their secret back, which is, I guess, to create the potion that brings these puppets to life. But they want it back. Toulon stole it.
They want to not. Is that even it? Because I feel like they just want the AI to not be created.
No, it's want. That's a means to an end.
Serum.
No, they don't. They're going after those people because they're connected to Rick, is what I'm getting at, or what I've gathered from it. But they don't want to give the secret of creating the life, which is funny because the only reason anybody discovers the potion is because this fucking dumbass sends his fucking little token demons up there to begin with.
Yeah.
Nobody was looking for the goddamn thing. So nobody knew it existed. No one knew it existed. So yes, that's the plot. I use in very loose quotations. And that sets this thing off. But what really makes it like just over the top dumb is the scene where we get the Ouija board. Ugh. It's one of the worst seance scenes in the history of cinema, as Derek would say.
And you weren't scared?
No, it's just like, yes, come closer. And then when that thing, Derek, you're muted, by the way, buddy.
Got something to say?
You were saying?
Yeah, well, so that's kind of where like the arm, like the extra 3 demons like teleported or fucking came out of the board or whatever it was, because they delivered one of them, but then they were like, oh, they're summoning us. We must go to the surface, and they
we got to talk about that too, because as Toulon's Obi-Wan around, we also have fucking R.L. Stein dropping off little totems to people.
R.L. Stein. Yes.
That is true.
They just like turn and there's like a dog on the porch with glowing green eyes.
Reader beware, you're in for a scare.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, it's this literally.
Maybe that's why I love this movie.
I love Goosebumps, but I do not love this.
I do really think though that the puppets are genuinely scary, and I think that's in my brain there something happens in my brain where that like releases happiness.
Yeah, that the
where
puppets
I'm scared of puppets.
Look,
that makes me happy.
I'm the fan of the puppets. They're right there. I have them. They're up there.
Yes.
I'm a fan of them and their design. I am not a fan of most of the films they are in. So I'm like, oh, what a great design. This is awesome. And then I watch the movie and I'm like, oh man, that's like fucking awful. It's like being a fan of like, it's like being a fan of the Browns for the last 40 years, right? Like, you love them so much because they're your team, but then when you watch them, they're horrible. You're like, God.
Dude, do
Except
you
for this
remember
year,
when
they're pretty good.
this is a sidetrack, but like prior to the Sean Payton era,
Mm.
do you remember when the Saints fans would wear bags on their heads?
Yeah, they called themselves the Aints.
Yeah. We ain't gonna win. No
Yeah.
more.
I think
But
that these films are aging like fine wine. Okay,
if you
they're
mean
just getting better and better.
if you mean wine that's made in a prison toilet that somebody shit in, then yes, I would agree it's aging like wine.
Lydia's like, I
You
don't
know,
know. I've never had that.
sometimes
Could be
that
good.
might be the best tasting wine. You know,
No, it
just
is
because if you're in prison,
this
you
one,
can't have wine. So when
guys.
you
This
have
one,
it's like really good.
this one
Lydia's
is
like, I'm
is-
trying, guys. I'm trying.
This one is just irredeemable. Like, I would go out to say this one might be one of the worst ones we've watched on the podcast so far. Because
No.
yes. I mean, it's more competently made than like something like Rawhead Rex, which is
I don't
also
know who
incredibly
picked that
weird.
one.
But Rawhead
This
Rex
is way better than that.
No. Rawhead Rex, at least shit happens. This nothing happens.
what?
It's like, and there's only like 3 kills. 2 of them at the beginning and off screen, and then we have freaking old fuckboy with his hair, Cameron. He's the only other guy that dies. It's just,
We-
and then the only
we
bit
call
of
him
gore
Chuck?
we see. No, I called him Cameron. I called him fuckboy.
I said, can we call him Chuck?
We can if you want.
All right, let's
Um,
refer to him as Chuck.
But but the only gore we have is the finger getting cut off, and then we just have some blood smears on the windows, and then we have Tunneler tunneling into one of the demons, and that's probably the best effect in the movie besides Toulon's head. The rest of it's just like, it's just badly made. Everything
But
about it's like poorly made
how
and boring.
excited were you when you found out that we were back in Toulon's like house mansion?
I
thing?
wasn't.
Oh, man,
When
I
we
would
saw,
love to like go and visit that place. It looks cool.
dude, when I saw the terribly matted hotel on the seaside, I was like, oh, the hotel's back. Man, it looks even worse than it did in the previous sequels.
I would
Also,
stay there.
There was something that was going on with the generator too that I couldn't make sense
It
of.
was a storm, so they had to use the generator,
Yeah,
and then
But-
it went out at one point.
but his
No, I guess it
generators
just came
were
back.
like being ran by his computers or something.
He was running them through.
that
He's
make
running the
sense?
computers with them, I guess, because he says something dumb like,
Mhm.
like he's like, "This is an old building. I don't know how you power your
Oh.
equipment." He's like, "I've got a separate generator."
Yeah.
Derek,
I think
Battery
what he
King, tell us
meant-
about this.
Well, I think what he meant was the generator is only backed up to his computers, not the power grid of the hotel. So he was like, I'm not going to lose my stuff.
Yeah.
We just won't have any light.
Well, they didn't have to worry about that because that's the brightest fucking moon in the history of the world, so they were good to go.
Yeah. We haven't talked about the like girlfriend. What was her name?
Well, it's because she's like boring. She's her name is Susie.
I think she might have like pissed me off more than Cameron.
But she's
For
By
what?
mostly just by bringing. She did great. I think she did great. But like she brought that case from the porch upstairs to like their room and just left it there. And I was like,
dude,
why would you do that?
she is she's very pretty. The actress is very pretty. I love her look.
Oh, yeah,
I like
yeah,
the way she's
yes.
dressed and stuff. I love her look. But
Yeah.
she is like the most pointless character. Like period. Just like the most
really
pointless
is,
character.
yeah.
You know
She
what?
doesn't even
You know what
die.
else I noticed is like because I did not look at what year this came out, and I couldn't pinpoint it because half of the cast is dressed like they're in the 80s and the other half is 90s.
Well,
You know?
95 was a confusing time. It was.
Yeah.
93. This was made in 93.
Because Susie was
It said 95
straight
on that.
80s.
Was the release date 95?
No, the release date's 1993.
Oh, now I'm looking this up. I'm telling you, it was 95. At least
I'm
on
looking
Plex
at it
was.
right
That's
now.
how I watched.
Yeah, I'm watching it, looking at it right now on Wikipedia, 1993.
Interesting, because it doesn't matter, but Plex had it as 1995.
Huh.
Yeah, and then part 5 was released in 94, the very next year. And then the 6th one doesn't come out until 1998. There's a couple few years where people were saved from the shit of the Puppet Master.
You don't know, maybe the second
And
installment.
4 years of a reprieve. No, I've seen the 5th one for sure because one of my aunts had it on VHS. I remember it. This one I watched on Sci-Fi, and it was weird because part 5, I was like, seems like there's another part to this. But yeah,
Like, it seems like I'm missing some information here.
Yeah, so they shot these back to back. They filmed them back to back. This in the first one, or in part 4 and part 5. And that's basically all the information. There's zero trivia on Wikipedia for this movie. People are like, I'm not fucking
So,
wasting my time to
would you
compile
rather watch?
some trivia.
Would you rather watch the first one or this one?
Probably the first one because we at
Mhm.
least get some deaths. That's the
They're all
problem
off
with this one.
camera.
They are, but at least people are dying, and we also get that great plot line of that woman that can sense when people are having sex, which is hilarious. So we can at least laugh at that.
Terrible.
Movie trivia.
Uh-oh.
There's like a couple.
No, on IMDb, yeah, but none on Wikipedia.
Oh, yeah, okay.
There's
I didn't
literally
do that
none.
part.
It's just like it doesn't even give you box office numbers because it's a VHS, or a budget. It just says, hey, this movie existed. It came out in '93, and some unfortunate souls watched it. They rented
Maybe it
this
was
when they
me
could have
as-
rented Phantasm 3.
Maybe like my parents had this on like when I was a baby, and that this is why I am the way I am.
Maybe.
It like shaped me.
I think maybe your family wrote this or something. 'Cause
I'm just like,
what's
no,
that bit of
guys, it's
trivia
really
you have there,
good.
Derek?
Well, one of them is like the torch puppet created in Puppet Master 2 is seen on the cover of the VHS and DVD case, but is not actually in the movie.
Oh,
That's true. I do see
Interesting.
Torch on the cover.
It was an economic reason, maybe because they're like, we can't afford to have 6 puppets.
We can't afford to have fire.
you wouldn't think that would be a reason to like
Could
not
only
have- it's
afford
like,
FX.
Maybe you shouldn't
Oh,
have put him
and
on the
we
cover.
Fire
made them every
Marshal.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it's the same puppets every time?
Yeah, I think in
Mhm.
the first couple it is.
Yeah.
I think eventually they start making new ones. Because they get beat
I
up
want
and
one.
shit.
I don't know if I want one. They're pretty scary.
You're afraid of them. I don't want people judging me if they see him in my house. Oh, you're a fan of 4, eh? Don't you ever say that to me again, you son of a... That's fighting words. Yeah. Was that the only bit of trivia, Derek?
No, there's a bunch of it.
Oh, okay. Is there any other interesting ones?
Oh, there's actually one about smoking. So a scene with Toulon, with the Toulon messenger, so that little doll, smoking, was cut from the film due to the producer Charles Brand's objections.
Charles
to
Band.
smoking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Band's
Charles Band
objections
doesn't like
to
smoking.
Which
That's
is
hilarious.
great. He and I are kindred spirits.
Yeah, that's Derek. Except, so we have a segment that's going to be in our anthology, the anthology feature that we're going to do, probably after this one we're doing now, or the one after it. But we have an anthology feature, and there's a segment that revolves around cigarette smoking, and I don't know how Derek's going to be able to handle that segment.
I can handle it. So this is really funny. So this was originally meant to be Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys.
Which does
Before
happen
the
later.
before the idea of the Decapatrons and Toulon came into the story. So like there was a version of this. You said there were 6 writers.
Yeah.
Sounds like somebody pitched that as an idea.
Well, I like that they're like, oh, versus demonic toys, that would be cool. And then somebody's like, wait, hold the phone. I've got this idea with Toulon in these demons. And somebody was like, yeah, that sounds cooler. The fuck are you on? What are you smoking? We just want to see these puppets fuck up other puppets or fuck up people. We don't want to see weird demon guys and paint drying in a hotel, because that's what we got in this movie. Paint drying in a hotel. But luckily, it was very well lit, so we saw it drying very clearly. All right. That is Puppet Master for the Demon. The Gene Simmons, as I call it. What are you guys' thoughts on Puppet Master? I know it's a real shock. We're going to be really shocking on our thoughts on this one. We'll start with you, Lydia. Go ahead. What do you think of Puppet Master 4? Skin.
I loved it. I just loved it. This movie is right up my alley. Maybe I've been told that I like boring movies, so maybe that's why I like it. I don't know. It could just be one of those things where I was just like having a good day kind of movie, you know, where I had no reason to like it as much as I did, but also puppets. Like, you know, it's just me. I don't know what to rate it because now
because it's not a good movie, so you're kind of like set between a
I'll
rock
say
and a
it's
hard
not a
place.
great
rate it
movie.
however she wants. Lydia, there's no pressure. You give it whatever rating you want.
I meant to look up what I gave the last ones because I
Derek
feel
can
like
tell
I
you.
should judge
Graded
it
on that
based
curve.
on
Yeah.
Yes. Because I don't know. Like, I really wanted to rewatch them all because I don't know if this is now my favorite one.
All right, Puppet Master
Jamie's so
3.
mad.
Puppet Master 3 is kind of a misleading one because we thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, we like it.
Yeah.
Actually. Yeah.
Well, it's a quality film. Yeah.
When did we do Puppet Master 2?
Before 3.
Was it? Well, obviously we did it before. That must be before I started keeping track. I gotta update this. So you gave the other one a 7. We all gave it a 7.
Okay, 7. Okay.
Yeah, it's the best one.
Puppet Master 2, I would say, until this point, was my favorite.
I think we gave it, like, Puppet Master 2, I think we gave 6s across the board. 6s, something like that.
I might have
the first one I know I gave a 4, I think.
Oh man, this is
maybe
tough,
a 5.
Guys. I'll give it a 7.5.
Okay.
I feel like I can't give it an 8 because you're right. It's not like I've given really good movies 8s.
Yeah,
you know?
You've given really good movies 7s too.
That's true. That's true. My level of enjoyment really varies from day to day.
Derek, what are you going to give this thing? What are your thoughts? You're muted, by the way, before you start trying to talk.
I knew that.
I saved you.
That.
Just saved you.
Man, I think this movie earned its position in the Puppet Master universe. I'm going to give it a 4. I have no positive things to say about it.
I can't believe you gave it a 4. This movie's a straight up deuce for me.
It's the 4. It's a 2. You're giving it a 2.
This is a 2 out of 10 for me. This one is
2 out of 10.
This one is.
Before.
I'm sorry to say, I did not enjoy this movie at all. Like, this is one of the. It's not like. It wasn't painful to watch. It just was so boring. That's all there is to it. Maybe a 2 is a little harsh. Maybe I'll jump up to a 3 because I kind of feel bad giving it a 2. 3. We'll give it a 3. It's still very, very terrible. I have no positive things to say about it either, Derek, except that at the end credits you hear the Puppet Master theme finally. The rest of the time the music is bland and boring. which is a great musical score because it fits the rest of the film. The composer was like, I think I figured out the tone of this thing. I'm sorry, Jeff Burr. You're a nice guy, I'm sure, and I know you try hard, but this just was not it for me. This one is my least favorite of all 4 Puppet Masters. My least favorite. I'd rather watch one 10 times before I'd watch this one again. I just want to steer clear of Puppet Master 4. It just, there's nothing enjoyable about it for me. I had way more fun recording this episode and talking about how awful it was than watching the film. If I was rating it based off our conversation, it'd be an 8 because I had a great time talking about it. But I just
see, that's how I felt watching it. I was so happy that we were going to get to talk about all this crazy stuff.
Yeah, I was happy that we get to talk about some of the stuff, but this is no joke. I'm going to be honest. There's a point multiple times where I checked to see how much time's left in the movie. And each time it literally said like an hour or 40 minutes. And I was like, oh my God. And the movie's only 79 minutes long, guys. It's 79 minutes long. And I checked and there's an hour left. That means that I watched 19 minutes of it and was like, God damn, how much time's left in this? That's a terrible place to be. So yeah, that's why it gets an old 3 from me. I don't want to give it a 1 because I think it's better than a 1. And
it's better
a 2,
than the Munsters.
Yeah, it's definitely better than the Munsters. Though I will say, the Munsters, more shit happens at least. I will say that. But it's
shit
just
happens in this.
It's just the most horrible movie, The Munsters. It's just I think we gave it a 3 as well. It's pretty atrocious.
I'm pretty
I
sure
gave
I
it a
did not
0.
give it. Yeah, I think I gave it a negative number.
Yeah, that's probably the worst one we've watched in the podcast.
Definitely the worst one we watched. I'd rather watch Lumberjack Man.
Yeah, than Munsters.
Say, Lydia?
Yeah, it's
not that I want to watch Lumberjack Man again.
Oh,
I'd rather watch Rawhead Rex over Lumberjack Man.
I kind of look at Lumberjack Man with some rose-colored glasses these days. After some of these ones we've watched, I think we watched Lumberjack Man too early to give it such a harsh rating because I think I would prefer Lumberjack Man to this movie, like by far, because there's at least gore, there's blood, there's nudity, there's stuff going on. This one, it's like, guess what? All the stuff you like in horror movies, we're just not going to do any of it.
What about the AI? That's scary.
Dude, AI could write a better movie than those 6 writers. I can tell you that.
So the Munsters, Lydia, you gave the Munsters a 1. Jamie, you gave it a 3. I gave it a 0.1.
Yeah. 0.1. Yeah, I'd say this is
3.
I think
because
I felt bad.
This movie.
Well, I think you like Grandpa.
A 3?
Yeah, I think I did it for Grandpa.
So you gotta bump it up to like a 4 then.
I'm definitely not bumping this up to anything. If anything,
5.
it'll bump down. The more I think about it, the angrier I get that I wasted 79 minutes of my life on it. That seemed like 4.5 hours because I just kept going, God damn.
Oh, man.
I mean, the
I
Munsters
can't wait till we get to
longer.
my pick.
Oh, you have a pick?
Yeah, it's my
Dude,
pick.
if you give us another... we just had to go through this movie. I swear, if you give us another one that... whose pick is it?
That's mine.
Oh, God. It is yours?
Oh,
God, this is the worst. Okay. Well, guys, it's time to aconize this movie.
Thrill me.
Anybody.
I don't really
it could
want
be the
to.
females.
Yeah. I don't want to because I don't want Tom Atkins' name to be tarnished with this shit. But who would Tom Atkins play in this thing?
Pick somebody.
Just pick a card, any card.
He could play the guy who delivers shit and delivers the demons and could be
oh, that way he's anonymous. That way he's anonymous and he doesn't.
He's incognito, but he still
ruined.
made the movie better.
No, he would just be the lead because then the movie might have some kind of charisma at least to carry it. It's not that our lead was terrible; it's just his character was terrible. It was just a terribly written character.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I do think like the acting was not great in every scene,
Yeah.
but some scenes
There
were
were
pretty
glimpses.
Yeah, I think that our lead actor actually was not a bad actor. I think he delivers the lines that he has to deliver them well enough. It's just the lines he has to deliver are dog shit, and his character is
good.
dog shit. So he can't help but to be dog shit in the movie. Like that's the
Yep.
problem. Like I think that there's a couple of scenes where I'm like, I could see where he could be a leading man. You know, he's not bad. But then there's those stupid things where he's like, they're at dinner and he's like, Cameron saying those things. He's like, and I'm like, okay, wow, they really want to push it
Yeah.
on us that these guys are rivals from the fucking academy, like it's Top Gun or something. Fuck out of here.
Yeah.
You're dangerous. Your body's writing. You're writing checks that your body can't cash. Oh my god. All right, so Tom Atkins could play the lead. It'd be better. Derek, dear God, it's your pick. What are we watching next week?
Man, I really kind of want to know what happens.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't,
Dear
you're gonna
God,
mutiny
don't.
and be like,
Yeah, I will mutiny.
"No." It's actually on. I'm pretty sure it's on.
It
Plex
is
or
on.
Tubi.
I checked it. I checked Tubi because I was like, oh, if this one's enjoyable, maybe we'll do the next one soon. And then this one, I was like, it's going to be a while.
It was so enjoyable.
Gonna be a while. At least 7 days.
No.
All right, I'm gonna shelf this for a couple weeks. We'll see where we are. And, like,
Don't let Jamie peer pressure you.
no, I actually had a movie picked out before we got on here. All right, guys. I'm gonna take us. I'm gonna keep us in the 90s.
Oh no.
And yeah, let's watch Idle Hand next week.
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay. I can get behind Idle Hands. Yes.
nice.
You know where it's streaming?
Absolutely not.
Oh gosh, it's probably not streaming anywhere.
Idle
It's a
Hands
Halloween
is
movie, Derek.
Idle Hands is streaming on nowhere. Well, you can find it on YouTube, Amazon Prime, Vudu, Google Play, and Apple TV. Those are the places to watch Idle Hands, unless you own a VHS, DVD, or Blu-ray copy. So, guys, next week, Idle Hands. Derek, you got a story for us?
Let me think about this.
I got one real quick while you're thinking. There's this one time
Go for it.
that I had to watch a movie for the podcast, and it was Puppet Master 4, and it was fucking
No.
terrible.
Get out of
I
here.
cried and nearly died from boredom. I'm sorry, Lydia. I know you like
Insert
this
a
movie.
face of Jester's face, really sad, right here.
That's the other big problem I have with the movie, by the way, while you're thinking of your story, is that the puppets are horribly underutilized. You see them for like 10 seconds each shot, and they really don't do anything. There's, like I said, there's the scene where Tunneler kills the one demon. There's the scene where Six Shooter lassos the one demon and they electrocute him. And then there's Blade fighting with the one, and it's like the worst thing you've ever seen in your life. But that's kind of it. They just kind of sit around, and then Six Shooter just keeps going, ah, ha, ha, ha. Yeah.
How creepy is that? Their noises are so creepy.
They are kinda
That's the
creepy.
scariest thing.
Did you think of a
Scarier
story,
than
Derek?
the murders.
Yeah, did I ever tell you guys the story about my brother throwing my shoe into traffic?
No, I don't think you
Ooh.
told us this
Did I
one.
ever tell you that one? Okay, so this is just I want you to think about how you would feel if you were the driver. Okay, so my brother and I we lived on Grant Street, which you remember where like Breakaway Bike Shop used to be back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So we
Our
lived
listeners
on
have
the
no
corner.
idea, but
No, but we lived like catty corner to Breakaway Bike Shop, and so my brother and I were outside and we were playing, and like I did something and he chased me. Eventually, like he took my shoe off, or it fell off. Jay grabs my shoe, man, and just chucks it. And that's a busy street. As he chucks it, this car is coming, and that shoe just nails the windshield. Okay, so
Ooh.
the lady in the car sees a child's shoe hit her car.
Oh,
She jumped out and she was hysterical. She was like, "Oh my god!" She thought she hit a kid. And Jay and I like ran into the house.
she just, to this day, she thinks she hit that kid so hard he vanished.
No, eventually.
She thought she hit an invisible kid.
Yeah, well, eventually, like, she calms down to the point, and, like, there's a whole bunch of ruckus, because, like, there's cars stopped outside, and this lady's hysterical. My mom and her husband at the time are like, what's going on? And we're like, I don't know what's going on. Anyway, we all went outside. Luckily, my mom's husband at the time knew the lady and, like, was able to, like, smooth it over. But I just imagine being in a car and you see a little shoe, and you thought you had a kid.
She probably flashed back to Pet Cemetery.
Yeah.
Probably. She's like, I don't even know where there's a pet cemetery to bury this
She
kid.
She hit it. She went, no fair, no fair.
No fair. Yeah, dude. It was kind of scary, man.
That's super scary. As someone who delivered pizza for a long time, that was definitely my biggest fear. Was just like, I do not want to hit a kid ever. Shoes, yeah.
Yeah.
That was my favorite job I ever had.
It's a good job, yeah.
Pizza delivery guy.
But be cautious, because you never know if a kid's gonna jump out.
Never know.
5 points. Mark it off.
My God. My God, Derek. My God.
If they're wearing glasses, you get an extra 2.
Oh my God. Yeah. So that is today's show, guys. Tell us your thoughts on Puppet Master 4, the forbidden one, is what I call it. Comment your favorite scene down below. We're gonna get 0 comments on that.
It's gonna be the laser tag scene.
Don't comment that, I guess. Tell us your thoughts on this movie and give us more suggestions on movies to watch. You can follow us each online. You can follow us at HiLaProductions.com. Follow us on Facebook at HiLa Productions. Find us on Instagram at Scream Bloody Movies. You can follow Lydia on Twitter at Lydia Spooky. You can follow Derek at DDoglyMaster. And you can follow me at Racket. Be sure to comment down below, share, and subscribe, and we'll have some fun, more movie news coming up for you. We have a big meeting next week, and hopefully that gets us further along in this process. Next week, don't forget to watch Idle Hands. So for Derek LeMaster and Lydia Judy, I'm Jamie Hiles. And remember, if you're going to scream bloody movies.